Good morning, YouTuber fam. Jonny Cashflow here, and if I don't catch you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Hope you're having a beautiful, awesome, wonderful start to whatever you got going on. And I'm glad that you were able to catch me for a minute here. So, just very briefly, I wanted to go over a concept that kind of blew my mind and started to change my mindset a lot. This is critical. You gotta catch this if you are into understanding financial independence. So, very critical thing, very simple question. Is a house a liability or an asset? Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. He's gonna get it. Do, do, do. Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. All right. Any Jeopardy fans out there? Yeah, watch it every night. Anyway, um, so really interesting thing. It seems like a no-brainer. Duh. Well, of course, my house is an asset, right? Okay. So the interesting thing about this is there's two diametrically opposed camps on this, and they're both millionaires. Okay. So Robert Kiyosaki will answer this question one way, and my friend Dave Ramsey will answer it another way. And what your answer to this question will be will depend somewhat on your risk threshold and somewhat on how you want to build your long-term assets, right? But here is the critical thing. My personal belief is that a house is a liability. And why do I say that? After owning properties for 5 years, oh, it's a liability, trust me. Because the pipes are going to break, the basement's going to flood, the roof's going to fall down, the AC's going to crap out, going to flood your bathroom, going to flood your bedrooms, going to ruin your floors. Your AC, oh, I already mentioned that. See, there's been so many I'm losing count. Your washer dryer might set your house on fire. Your electric could short circuit, also burn parts of your wall. Lots of wild things, lots of investment and unexpected, things. The piping on your house can actually be back pitched where you constantly get clogs and you actually need to trench out 8 feet deep to the city main and replace it with PVC pipes. The crazy things can happen. So if you have to be a homeowner, you you know. But even if you are a homeowner and you're blindly thinking it is an asset, it's a simple answer to the question. It's an asset. I always knew it's an asset. It's appreciating asset. I'm gonna buy it at 300K, and 30 years from now it's gonna be worth $1 million. I made 700K. Okay, well, did you though? Because if the mortgage on that was 2,000 a month times the 30 years that you were paying that off, so that's like $740,000. I mean, quick dirty math, something like that. It's like $750,000, and then the modern value is 750,000, and then arguably the present day value, like that, like essentially if you had just spent that money, it was more valuable at the time than 30 years from now when you had it. So that 750 isn't actually worth 750. It's worth more like, I don't know, like 300 in present value. So that's a whole thing, a question, a long way, like lightning round of like, wait, is it an asset? Did you actually make a windfall of 400,000 or 500,000, or did a lot of it go into the house? Now, if you're buying a property to live in it, it doesn't make much sense to think of it as an asset. But even if you're buying it as an investment property, it's not a bad idea to think about it as a liability. Why? Because if you're renting it, well, if something gets screwed up, it's a cost. It's a cash flow suck anytime there's any type of issue with that house. So the house itself is a liability. Where is the asset then? And this is where you get to the diametrically opposed second camp. Robert Kiyosaki says that the asset is the debt that you have. Because what you're able to do with that debt, especially if you have it at 2.5%, 1.75%, 3.5%, like these ridiculous rates you were able to get over these last few years, what you're actually doing, the reason the debt isn't the liability and the debt is actually the asset, is because you are able to leverage that debt in order to grow your income and your assets in ways that you wouldn't be able to on a one-to-one basis, right? So I can put 10 or 20% down on a property, and now when that property appreciates 5%, if I put 20% down, then on my initial investment, for simple math, say it's a $100,000 property, I put $20K down. Now that property appreciates 5%. It grew, 5% on $100,000. So what is my return in that single year? Well, I only put in $20,000, and then I get out on the other end $5,000 in property appreciation. So that's actually 25% return on that initial $20,000 down payment that I used to capture the property. Now that whole math works in the negative direction if you think we're going to have a down housing market in the next 2 to 4 years. So you got to be careful about that. But that is the critical things to realize about this question, right? You can still view, if you like to view, you don't believe me, you want to view your house as an asset and the debt as a liability. That's cool. You can do that. You can be in the Dave Ramsey camp. I lean toward the Robert Kiyosaki camp. And if you're in the Dave Ramsey camp, I would encourage you to investigate and consider the other side of the coin, and vice versa. If you're in the Kiyosaki camp, look at Dave Ramsey. Look at the other side of the coin and understand the mindset so that you can understand how to better drive your strategy and growth in your assets, your income. So all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I look forward to catching you guys on the next one. So this next video is super cool, kind of relates into this, home ownership, real estate universe of questions. So here's a fun question. Is home ownership more expensive in Illinois or is it more expensive in Florida? Do you want the answer? I'm not going to give it to you now. You got to click the next video, boy. I got to click that next video. I ain't going to give it to you right here. Come on, boy. Come on, you haven't clicked it yet. Come on. Click it. Give it a little clicky. Click that next one. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. Enjoy, guys. Have fun.